Ron Holland plays his best game as a Piston. Bobi Klintman continues to impress with his passing. And the Marcus Sasser point guard experiment goes on. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on today's episode of Pistons Intellect.
Passing lane, Sky's a jam. Dynamite dunk and the crowd loves it.
Welcome back to Pistons Intellect. I'm your host, Jack Kelly. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_Kelly_313. You can also follow us on Instagram at Pistons_Intellect. And as always, if you're feeling so kind, please hit that subscribe button. Now, firstly, for today's show, I just want to apologize for not putting an episode out yesterday like I usually do on a Friday. But as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different location. I'm currently in Bali, in Indonesia, on a bit of a holiday. I've still been watching the Pistons and that kind of thing. I just couldn't record yesterday. So I thought anyway, it'd be good to record straight after the Pistons play their fourth Summer League game against the Knicks, which we'll get into. So today the Pistons played the New York Knicks in Cox Pavilion in what was kind of a game like... It's kind of how the Pistons have played every game. They sort of struggle. They might look good at the start, but then they struggle through the middle period, but then they make a bit of a charge in the last quarter and close really strong. And in this game today, the Pistons just lose at the buzzer. Well, I should say they lose on a jump shot from Marcus Sasser. He had the chance to give them the lead. He unfortunately missed, and the Pistons fall 90-91 to the Knicks. As I mentioned, the Pistons were down by 13 points heading into the fourth quarter. And then a big fourth quarter from kind of Marcus Sasser alongside Ron Holland, and then Bobi Klintman also doing some stuff. The Pistons rallied all the way back after being down by 13 and almost pinched this one. But look, ultimately, the Pistons, I don't think, had a chance to actually advance to the championship if they won today. At the start of the game, they showed the teams that were had a chance to move through to, I guess, the Summer League Championship round, and all the teams were undefeated. So I can't imagine if the Pistons won, they would have snuck in. So ultimately, it's Summer League. We don't care really about the results. So we're just here to focus on a few of the players that will suit up for Detroit this upcoming season. And where I want to start is with the Pistons' first-round pick, Ron Holland. In today's game, Holland had what I feel like was by far his best game as a Piston. And it goes beyond the box score, but tonight he scored 20 points, had 6 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, shot 42% from the field, which for him is pretty good after shooting sub 40 in his previous 2 games. He made the 1-3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, and was a +2 on the night. And I think for Ron, this game, he still had, like, my biggest thing with him so far has been him kind of playing a little bit out of control and how that's affected his game. But I think in tonight's game, he still had moments like that where he's a bit out of control. But for the most part, he looked really in control. And in particular, in that second quarter, I thought he made a ton of really nice defensive plays. He tried to draw 2 charges. One of them was a blocking foul on him. The other, he got the charge, had a really nice block. Also, I don't know any of the Knicks players' names off the top of my head, but he had a really nice stop in the second quarter. And then down the other end of the second quarter, he knocked down a 3, made a really tough M1 layup over Ariel Hook-Porty, the Knicks center. And just was playing within control. Like, even on that M1 he had, I just mentioned, like, he kind of had it in semi-transition and he made it look like he was going to shoot the 3, drew out the Knicks defender, and then just blew by him, got to the rim, and just like made a really tough shot over the Knicks center. And it just showed a renewed sense of control, I feel like. And he then did follow that up not long after with like a rush mid-range jumper off the glass, which missed pretty bad. But for the most part, to see him kind of shoot 42% before, like, he actually was hovering more in the high 40s, but he missed kind of a shot at the end to give the Pistons the lead on a putback. But I think just the overall control he played with. The Pistons even used him as a roll man today, and he finished on the roll, which looked nice. He just looked like he was just finishing in traffic. And I think that was my biggest takeaway was when he finishes these drives through contact and in traffic, he's like unlocks another level as a player. And he's just a rookie. I already know there's going to be so many ups and downs with him, just by nature of the way he plays the game. Like there's going to be some frustrating moments, but what like I feel really confident about is that if he can get his finishing down pat in his rookie season or towards the end of his rookie season, like I think he's going to be a guy that can come in and score 10 to 15 points on any given night on decent efficiency. Because I think one thing he's struggled with, and it's a byproduct of like kind of the team not having a point guard, is just trying to find a rhythm and find his shots. Like particularly in the game against the Bulls, like in that first half, he was just rushing and it felt like he was trying to force stuff and go one-on-one with his former teammate, Martis Buzelis, and just rushing shots. And I feel like at the NBA level, when the Pistons have, at least when he shares the floor with Cade Cunningham, and even guys like Tobias Harris, where Ron's not kind of tasked with being a primary option, like I feel like his shot selection will get better just because there won't be as many shots for him. And then if he is getting shots, they'll be wide open or just better looks for him, because I feel like in today's game, it was more a reflection of what we might see in his rookie season, where he does cut and finish. He does score off rolls to the basket as a screener. Maybe that's something we see once a game. But I think overall, like once he's finishing through traffic, like his efficiency will go up. Like I'm certain in that. I don't think like we're going to be seeing a whole heap of 3 of 12 nights for him as a rookie. I think it'll be more like the nights he struggles, it's like a 3 of 8, or his good nights will be like a 5 of 9 or that kind of thing. Like I just don't see him taking a higher volume enough of shots to have those really poor shooting nights, but I think his looks will be better as well. But yeah, the defense and the finishing tonight were the highlights for me, because in his first 2 games, he got plenty of decent looks at the rim. He just couldn't finish them. And his finishing at the rim was something he struggled with in the G League, but he has all the tools to be a great finisher. So a lot of it comes in transition, but tonight the impressive thing was his finishing kind of in the half court against a bit of a set defense. So go and watch the highlights. I'll have them posted on my Twitter for you to go check out, or go just Google them on YouTube. So really good game from Ron, like I said, at both ends. Because defensively, he's a guy that's always going to get a steal on the block. It just feels like he's a bit like a Sar in that sense. Like they're just athletic enough and have kind of the right instincts to make plays like that. But I thought tonight his positioning on defense really stood out, and he actually made stops that weren't just him getting a steal in, a steal picking off a pass or that, which is important. But I thought tonight he showed like really nice defense. So that's kind of my summation on Ron's game. Like I said, I thought it was his best game as a Piston in those 3 Summer League games he played. And yeah, let me know your thoughts as always. Next player I want to talk about is another Pistons rookie, Bobi Klintman. And I've titled this one Bobby's Special Skill, because I feel like now through 4 games, it's safe to say like Bobi Klintman's passing might be, along with his 3-point shooting, like I think his passing is his most special skill. I think the 3-point shooting is his most important skill that's going to help him translate the next level. But his passing at the 4 position is pretty special, it feels like. Like I didn't see this in the NBL. Like there might have been flashes, but he was not making reads like this on a consistent basis at the NBL level. So for me to see him like continue to just make these really smart plays as a passer, and also just add some flair. Like we've seen no looks. We've seen him like he's made passes. Like it's not like they're just flashy passes in transition. Like he's reading the defense in pick and roll and like flicking it to a corner shooter like Luka Doncic after he sees the help rotate. Like he's like shown flashes where he's picking apart defenses. And yes, this is Summer League, and I understand we are probably not going to see a whole lot of Bobi Klintman pick and roll ball handler possessions at the next level, but I just did not expect to see this. Like, and he's had a ton of like no look passes that actually come off. And like we've seen like guys like Jaden Ivey do no look passes probably for almost no reason. But when Bobby has done a no look pass so far, it's like valid. Like it's like he's genuinely fooling the defense with it. And it's like, opening up opportunities for his teammates. And he's had 16 assists in 4 games, which is the second most on the team, which when you consider he's been playing at the power forward position exclusively and hasn't had the ball in his hands a whole lot, like to average 4 assists in 4 games is pretty impressive to me. And like where he's struggled has been in the paint and finishing, like, and kind of driving to the rim. It just feels like that's not going to be a part of his game, at least early on. So the fact he can like pass really opens things up, because he can still use his 3-point shot to fake defenders and get that 1 or 2 dribbles into the paint. But like normally you would like to see him finish, but because that's a limitation, the fact he can make passes in tight windows and kind of read the defense in traffic, I think really opens things up for him as a player, and could see him get minutes as a rookie, maybe on a consistent basis. We'll see. But it would be ignorant of me to say like Bobi Klintman's going to spend the whole season in the G League after watching what we've seen play out so far. I still don't think he's in the opening night 10-man rotation, but who knows? He could have a really, really positive training camp and, you know, turn heads. And who's to say, you know, if he's shooting the ball well as well, like, you know, he could very well make his way onto that opening night rotation, especially if Bickerstaff plays 11 guys. Like, I think it's a given he'll probably play 10, but if he extends that to 11, I think Bobi Klintman might be that guy. Who knows? He might climb into that 10. But let me know your thoughts on his play, like the rebounding as well. Like, I think he's averaging through 4 games, like just under 9 rebounds a game. That's something him and Ron Holland have done really well. But that's encouraging as well, because you got the 3-point shot, you've got the playmaking, and now you've also got some rebounding at the 4 position, as well as a bit of ball handling. Like, that kind of sounds like the perfect 4-man to me. Like, Bobby has said himself, Tobias Harris is a guy he models his game after, and he's reminding me a lot of Tobias Harris in the mold and the way he's going about it. So hard not to be excited by him. He's currently shooting 40% from 3 as well at Summer League. So just really, really, really impressive. And I think what's so, just to round this out, encouraging is, like, the numbers are good, but everything he's doing on the court in Summer League, I feel like he can do at the next level. Like, it's so translatable. This isn't like he's just getting extra usage and a heap of shots like maybe Ron Holland. And I'm not saying that to knock Ron, but there's no way Ron Holland's getting 18 plus shots on a nightly basis like he's been doing in the Summer League. The way Bobby's playing translates immediately to the NBA. Like, it's scalable. Like, I see him playing this exact role at the next level. Ron, I see having to scale it back a bit. So that's what I think has me so encouraged about Bobby's play and just his feel for the game and how that stood out. But let me know your thoughts on Bobby. Has some limitations clearly, but all the good stuff he's done has stood out the most to me. And I think he's by far been the most impressive Piston, just based on expectations and versus what he's delivered. And that's not a knock on Ron. I just think, but no one expected this from Bobi Klintman. Like, I'm far from a scouting expert or Bobi Klintman expert, but I'm telling you, I watched a heap of his games last season in the NBL, and I did not see this consistency in him and the passing. Like, I think what a lot of people will tell you who watched him was he would have one good game, then a really down game, and there'd be moments you didn't even realize he was on the court. I haven't felt like that at all at Summer League. He's made plays even when he's not scoring, and that's been super impressive. So moving on to the last segment here is quick chat on Marcus Sasser. Look, it's been rough. Like, Marcus Sasser at point guard in the Summer League has been rough. Some quick numbers here. Through 4 games in 30 minutes a night, he's put up 14 points, 5 assists, 2.5 steals. But where he's really struggled has been he's shooting 33% from the field, 20% from 3. And he's having, like, he's got those 5 assists, but he's also coughing up 3.5 turnovers a game. And he said himself, I think at the end of the 3rd quarter in an interview with ESPN, like, he's probably 70%, 75% at where he thinks he should be as a playmaker. And I think he means just in the balance he's finding. Like, I don't think he's saying he's close to complete as a pure playmaker. But I think he acknowledges, like, you can tell he knows he hasn't been playing as well as he would like at the point guard position. But he also said, like, this is the time for him to figure it out. And I think a lot of Pistons fans are okay with him figuring it out at summer league and trying to develop his skills as a playmaker, as a pure point guard. But uh, I think where a lot of fans are scared is that if he's playing 20 minutes in the first game of the season as a backup point guard, what that looks like for the Pistons. Because I think where Ron Holland has suffered and Bobi Klintman and other players in the team is Marcus seems to really struggle to find that balance. And it feels like to me, every time he comes down the floor, his first option is to score for himself. And the only time, like, so he'll drive, he'll try to get to the rim, he'll try to get his step back. Like, I was watching every time he comes down, like, he holds the ball and it's like gets to like 14 seconds on the shot clock. Like every single time. There's never a quick pass. I'm sure there has been, but it just feels like for the most part, there's never a quick pass to open things up and get the offense moving. It's always him dribbling, surveying, instead of like trying to mix it up. And it always feels like his first instinct is to go and score. And I like that in Marcus, but there was times where like, the Pistons need a bucket. They need some ball movement, particularly when they're down by like 20. And he just comes down and dribble. And it gets to like 10 seconds and the other like flings the ball up for like a tough layup or tough pull up or on a 0 pass possession, or he like dishes it off and like the offense only has like 9 seconds to figure something out. So I think my biggest gripe with him has been like not getting other players. Like it's not that he doesn't pass at all. It's just like the offense is so slow a lot of the time. Like it feels like the Pistons generated a lot of offense like in transition and getting turnovers. And that was when it was free flowing as opposed to like setting up stuff in the half court because Marcus just really struggled to orchestrate. And I just thought he held onto the ball too long. And instead of just trying to get his teammates involved, like there was one possession that kind of really frustrated me in the second quarter where Marcus, to his defense, came alive in the fourth quarter, I thought, and made some really tough shots to help the Pistons get back within it. He hit like a tough three, a tough floater. And look, he missed that game-winning shot. To be honest, like he should be taking that shot to me. He's by far the best shot creator on the floor in this Summer League team. So I don't mind he missed that. It's more so the stuff in the second and third quarters when the Pistons were struggling. And there was one particular possession in the second quarter where Ron Holland was wide open, just off like he was kind of in the mid-range along the baseline. And Marcus looked him off and jacked up a contested three. And Ron was wide open. And yeah, that just was like, what's the point of that? Like, I know you're trying to get yourself going, but you have a wide open player there in Ron who can get the ball in the mid-range. Even if he doesn't get a shot off, like the defense is going to all collapse to Ron and maybe it opens Marcus back up and he gets a better look at three. But just those little things just felt like they compounded and he really struggled with turnovers. And, I'm more than happy. Like if the Pistons had Tyus Jones on the roster or a more experienced guard at the backup point guard position, this doesn't bother me at all because I still believe in Marcus Sasser. And I think within there's a guy that can contribute to a winning team. But yeah, he really struggled. He really struggled. I saw some overreactions online from Pistons fans about him being the worst player on the court. I think that's far from the truth. He struggled. He absolutely struggled. He did not have a good summer league. But I don't have any concerns with him as a scorer. I think where all our concerns lies with him being the team's backup point guard. So a lot for JB Bickerstaff to think about there. Maybe Jaden Ivey's just a backup point guard and the Pistons get someone at the trade deadline. Maybe they're still going to sign Tyus Jones. Maybe there's another trade coming. But I think just based off what we've seen, Pistons fans have a right to be very concerned if Marcus Sasser is the team's backup point guard come opening night. That's kind of my thoughts. I'm glad this game ended up being close because for a moment there, I wasn't sure what we're going to talk about today. But in the next episode, I'm going to do a full Summer League recap, probably mainly just on the contracted Pistons players. I want to do more of a deep dive into how they played. And because I think the Pistons will play one more consolation game, I believe it's called. I don't expect Ron Holland or Marcus Sasser to play. I feel like these consolation games are more so for a lot of the guys who haven't gotten minutes so far to get minutes to get a chance to shine. So I would be surprised if Sasser, Klintman, and Holland play. Maybe Bobby, but he signed his deal. I don't think so. So we'll see what happens. If they play, I'll review that game. But the next episode is going to be based just kind of going through all 4 Summer League games and just giving my final thoughts on that. So thanks, everyone, for watching today. Thank you for your patience. Apologies I didn't get an episode through yesterday. But as always, appreciate the love. And until next episode, go Pistons.